So I'm going to show how I routed the cables and wires off the handlebar perches. This one is the right side, and this is the front brake light switch. And I routed it down this way, and then it comes down under here and connects here to this connector on the main wiring harness. Now the other cable that comes out is the throttle cable, and I took it down this way, and again I routed it through here, and then it comes out over here where it'll connect to the splitter with the two cables that go to each of the carburetors. Now the other cable is the one that goes to the handlebar controls, and I've got a fairly good length on it, so I took it down underneath the top clamp, and then it routes back around to go into the headlight shell. And what I wanted to check is, as I moved it, whether it pinched anywhere, and it doesn't. So I think that's a pretty good routing for the right side cables and wiring. Now the left side has the choke cable, the clutch cable, and then this is the electrical connection to the clutch switch. So similarly to the front brake light switch, I routed it down, and I actually put it on this side of the speedometer cable because it caused less pinching as I rotated the handlebar. And then it comes down here and then connects to the connector on the main wiring harness. Now the choke cable I routed somewhat similarly to the throttle cable, and it runs down this way on this side of the speedometer cable, and then it routes down, and I actually brought it through underneath the fork lock, which seemed like a little better routing for it. And then it comes down here, and it'll connect to the splitter that goes to the two chokes on the carburetors. Now the clutch cable has to be routed so there's really no sharp kinks in it. So I brought it all the way over to here, and then it comes over on this side of the handlebar, and I brought it down along the tube here, and then down this way along this front frame member, and it runs along the inside of that frame member, and then it's on top of the frame underneath the push rod tubes and seals, and then it routes its way to the bushing here in the transmission casting. So that's where it goes, and then connects to the clutch throwout arm here. And I'll adjust the clutch cable at a later time. Now similarly, I brought the left side switch wiring down and in back of the top clamp here. So once again, the idea is to route that in such a way that there's free cable, so as I move the handlebars, it's not going to pinch. Now the other cable that comes in up here, although it's not to the handlebars, but it does get into the way, is the speedometer drive cable. So I brought that in and took it straight down, and then I rolled it this way and then over to this side of the frame, because that cable is going to route along the top here and then come down into the rear drive or the output drive on the transmission. So that's a fairly clean, simple bend that keeps it from getting bound up as well.